So today's topics: harvest, deployment, something I want to talk with you. Metron also suggested that we should talk about the goals of Orchard, and more specifically what is written on the documentation. Does anyone have a demo today?
Well, it's not a demo to show how cool I am, but to raise a question with regards to extending the content controller. In the short story is I needed to add a preview button, but in order to take action on the post back, I had to modify the core, the content module controller. So I'm just curious if you have maybe some advice on if there's a better way, or maybe we should open it up for extensibility, which would raise another question. Perhaps we could open up the controller of the contents module so that even the block controller can be removed, so that the block module will also use the contents controller. Just to raise that question, just to think about it.
Extensibility of the content controller.
Yes.
Okay. No demo? No one. Okay. So in terms of development, it has been very quiet last week, at least from myself, because of the Harvest conference and the fact that it needs a lot of time, and I just did a few things. I will talk with you about the Harvest itself. Do you want to say something, Ilan?
The people who are sort of tending to the global community have been very responsive. They've all added widgets on their home site. Andy Chipperfield from the UK provided the design for the soon-to-be-released last site that we're designing for this particular conference. That was very kind to him. It's been nice to see everybody sort of rally around it, and we're hoping that all of you that are joining us regularly on these weekly meetings will see face-to-face in Santa Monica the weekend of the 8th and the 9th. And last but not least, if any of you need assistance with information to provide to potential bosses, companies that you work for to sponsor you, or to get more information to encourage people within your community, please feel free to reach out to myself or Sebastian at any time, and we'll try and do whatever we can to help you.
So yes, the website, I hope you've all seen it. We started with the theme from the orchardproject.net, the same one. Then we decided it was not beautiful enough for the Harvest, so we made a custom one which is the current one right now, with a lot of fruits and colors and more beautiful. And but some people didn't find it very, not professional, but adapted to a CMS conference. So Andy from Orchard Prime made a theme, a dedicated one, that I'm working on integrating that into the current website. It's not very easy, but I'm almost done, so it should be available today or tomorrow. Hopefully today. It's already working on my box. I just need to adapt the content to this new theme.
I just want to add one thing, Sebastian. If any of the people here today want to tweet about it or blog about it, or put it on their LinkedIn profile, whatever means that they want to promote it, we would certainly appreciate it. If they want a blurb and they need one from us, we'll provide that. If they want the logo, will provide that as well. So if anybody who is a participating member of the community would like to promote it, we would certainly appreciate your assistance.
So from today's meeting, who's not coming? I know Adrian is coming. Antoine should not come. Well, Benedek should come. Metron will come. Brett will come. Chad. I think we already asked you last time. So Chad will come. You're not registered, aren't you? Okay. Chris Enyard. So this car's not coming. Chris will come. Steve Balmer, we didn't ask him. So you can ask him if you want. Nicholas is here.
Hey, you alright?
Yannick, Jay, we don't know. Marco just came, we don't know. Nicholas won't come because he prefers to go to Vietnam. Piotr will come. Sipke will come. Steve, do you intend to come? Zoltan will come.
You can't hear me, can you guys?
I can actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Cool.
can.
Alright, thanks guys. I'm sorry I was late. I went for a run and I'm at dinner at the moment. So I can only be about another 20 minutes.
So what was done in terms of progress on Orchard side? I did just one commit, and this commit is about deployment. This is something that has been raised on the discussion forum. Some users were talking about how they could deploy a precompiled version of Orchard. Precompiled, well, I think the sub-question was, I don't want to publish the source code when I publish Orchard. So actually, if you don't compile dynamically, it doesn't make sense to publish a source code. But in the same way, if you publish a source code and if you don't want to compile, it doesn't hurt to publish a source code. So it should not be an issue either. The issue was more about a deployment process, internal deployment process, and guidelines that would prevent them from publishing the source code. I had personally another concern with dynamic compilation and specifically with Azure websites. So you all know about Azure websites. It's very easy to publish anything, and Orchard specifically on Azure websites. The only issue with it is that it's using a shared folder, and the dynamic compilation is creating a lot of FileSym watchers, and FileSym watchers and shared folders don't work together very well. And so the idea would be not to use dynamic compilation, and specifically not to have any FileSym watcher created when using dynamic compilation when we use Azure websites. Otherwise, the website cannot work at all. It's like taking 10 or 20 seconds to render one page. So this is unusable, useless. So what I did is a new target on the MS Build script called Precompiled, and I will show you the result of what it generates. Let me show you. So I need to share. So when you do a build precompiled, actually it's like, let me show you this one. You see this one will do a, okay, call build. Where is build? This one, edit. Yeah. So when you call build space precompiled, it will call the target named precompiled. and this target precompiled. Let me show you. So if I go to the precompiled target, so you see this one will clean the folder, compile everything, package, and then package precompiled, which will so okay, first rename sample host components config to host component config and set the value to true, meaning, well, I mean the disable property to true, which means it will disable dynamic compilation. This is the same way I explained you last week and I documented on the documentation. And then it will also copy everything from staging, but excluding any CS file and CS proj. This is optional because dynamic compilation is turned off, but since it won't be used because dynamic compilation is turned off, it's also removing a CS file. If you still want them, you can remove that. Oh, sorry.
You had updated the doc topic for that already. Right?
Yes, I updated how to explain to disable dynamic compilation, but not how to make a precompiled package. So this one is precompiling, so it's compiling every project which are in the solution. Okay, and removing a source code and setting and disabling manually. So if you, it's never called unless you call it explicitly, like build space precompiled. And this will create in the build folder a precompiled folder with Orchard as a precompiled.
This is really not obvious. We should have that in the doc.
Yeah, I just committed this morning, so we need to add this to the documentation. And so this is an example of a module which was referenced in the solution. So if I go to the cache, I have a bin with the DLLs already compiled and views, and there is no more model and everything, so just static files. So that's the goal. So this is very useful if you want to publish something on Azure website, because of the issues I explained with shared folders, and it will also make the startup time faster because it doesn't have to compile dynamically every module which is not precompiled, like everything that you get from the gallery. So that helps a lot. I still have an issue with web matrix. So right now there is no scenario with web matrix only. So like you don't have Visual Studio, you can't use, if you are, well, actually, if you have downloaded everything from the gallery and from the web PI gallery, or chart from the gallery, and also modules from the gallery, and using only web matrix, then you have an issue because there is no way to compile them before. So maybe what will be needed is a specific dynamic loader, which will maybe not be dynamic, but a pretty dynamic loader, which will compile but save it in the bin and just the needed files. Right now the dynamic loader is just compiling in memory and doing it every restart. So that's not an option either. So it needs to be like cached. The assemblies needs to be cached if it's done dynamically, and not creating any file system watcher. So that might be a different dynamic loader, or we might need to change the current dynamic loader to handle this scenario, like an hybrid mode.
Quick question on all of this. What are the benefits?
The benefits is to make it work with AWS. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Right?
So if it works
with what?
Azure websites, it can work if you do everything from Visual Studio and you publish from Visual Studio, and if you don't have the latest web deploy SDK, which breaks everything that we have done so far.
Okay.
So, for instance, for you it will work because I know you are using Visual Studio with an old version of Web Deploy, which means you right-click Publish, and it does everything.
But there is no performance benefit or anything like that?
On call start. Performance benefit is on call start because it doesn't have to compile anything. It's already compiled.
Okay. And how much of a benefit is that?
It is that 1 time out of 2 you cannot start or chart on AWS. You get a timeout and then a 502. And with this new solution, it takes between 10 and 15 seconds to go to setup and everything is done.
Good.
So I'm working with the 2 teams right now at MS, the web deploy team. I'm talking about solutions to be able to customize the web deploy from Webmatrix and from Visual Studio, the new SDK. And I'm also talking with Azure about creating a specific package for Azure web service Azure websites, so that we can have a precompiled version and dynamic compilation disabled when people take or chart from the gallery on Azure. Otherwise, it almost doesn't work most of the time. If you do it from the client side, if you publish from Webmatrix, there are chances that it will work, but not online, and that's sad. Otherwise, it works very well on Azure. So, for instance, the Harvest website is hosted, and you see, it's very fast. Just browse that, and it's very, very fast. It works very great when you know how to deploy this stuff. Also, why I'm talking about that, I discovered something with Azure websites, which makes it better than I thought. I thought it was great, but it's even greater. So the idea is that what I had in mind is that when you create a free website and you want to go to a dedicated instance, what they call a reserved instance, just to be able to have your own domain name, because if you use the free offer right now, you can't have any domain name. I was almost sure that when you create 2 websites and you go to reserved instance, you will have 2 dedicated instances, like 2 VMs, which will break the idea of shared hosting. Because in the UI, every website you can configure which instance it will run on. But actually it will run on the same instance. So even if you have 10 websites and you have 1 subscription, they will all run on the same instance. So it's far easier now to host multiple things on Azure, and makes it quite a cheap option if you want to host things on a nice machine. So for instance, this one is running on a medium instance, so it's like 3.5 gigabytes and 2 cores. And it must cost, if you have to pay $60 per month, and you can run as many websites as you want. And if you have an MSDN subscription, it's free because you have 2 small instances or 1 medium instance to run for free with a MSDN account, if you happen to have one. That's it. Any question about that? The new logo? Oh, this one.
Elon just walked in and is very excited to be joining us through video. Everyone wants to see that face, Elon. I just saw him walk in.
Did someone want to unmute me?
Yeah, it was. I had an unmute request. I was like, "Who wants to unmute me?"
Yeah, I did. Okay. Next topic is Orchard a CMS.
Yeah, well, I'm going to write something, and people can react to it. I'll submit it to the mailing list, and you know, we can refine on that. So far, people have expressed that they don't want it to be shown only as an application, but also as a framework. And yeah, sure, I kind of agree with that. So yeah, I'll come up with something. If you have ideas, just respond to the existing thread of the governance mailing list on Google Groups. And I don't think we need to talk a lot about that. Okay, Nick agrees with me. Okay, yeah, sure, go ahead.
No, I'm just messing, Bertrand. But I did have one question. What did you think about that standard thing that I emailed you? Just the idea of a CMS standard. Do you know what I mean by that?
No.
So if you Google it, there's one team, I think, somewhere has created an open standard for what a CMS should be, and I'm wondering whether what we should be thinking about is rather an open standard of what an application framework for or whatever should be. Does that make sense?
It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I've been on a standard committee for years, and I can testify that it's not the most efficient way to achieve anything. And I don't know. It doesn't sound like a great idea to me, but I don't know.
It's only an idea. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, an idea. Let's say. I'll tell you what. What I'll do is let me find let me find that one for a CMS first, and I'll email it to you and see what you think. But you're probably right. It's probably not a good idea, but if I don't put it out there, then someone else might steal my idea.
So for the people who don't understand the discussions, this is about the project mission.
Yeah, that text has been written actually before the application even existed. It's antique, and it's been written by committee, I'm afraid. So it sounds very bland and unhelpful. So I think we need to rewrite it. That's it.
And I have a side question. When people come to us and say, okay, I like the Orchard project, should I reuse it for my own applications, even if there is no content management inside?
So you think we should answer that question?
I did exactly that.
And people have asked me this question.
It works perfectly.
Why they like it? Why not?
So yes, maybe it's not the goal. Maybe it's not the goal, but yeah, if you want to reuse what we did, like localization, dependency injection, shapes, UI composition.
The DI stuff is amazing. That's the best part about it.
Okay, so I think what you're saying is that there are parts in Orchard that like and that you might want to copy over to your own project, or there are best practices or stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe people want to start with that for the extensibility needs. Even if it's not a website, they want to create their own application, but be able to have the same extensibility points of Orchard and everything which is not about creating a content item.
Okay, I'll make sure to include something about that. And actually, yesterday somebody showed a website that was a document management system.
Yes, this is the one made by Nimble Pro last year.
Like an Orchard site. So that's a fairly good example of somebody who successfully took Orchard and made something different from it.
And
there's a delivery pipeline for news media from ITV. That runs on Orchard. So it's exactly the same principle, and that's delivering all web API side of things.
And some other application might need some UI composition logic, and it's implemented in Orchard through modules and shapes. You remember, Metron, the project which was made with Orchard? The one
Say
made
again,
by...
actually, I was taking notes.
Yeah, no, I can't disclose the name.
Say what you said again, and I
Like
may be able to decode it.
the project in Microsoft using Orchard.
Okay.
You don't remember?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an
So you see?
interesting one. Yeah.
So same. Not Nugget, something you haven't heard about. But Nugget also used the Orchard, but more in the content management also way.
Yeah.
SharePoint is not using Orchard, no. They could build SharePoint on Orchard. No, you can't know. You can't guess it. Also a status on 1.6, still the same, still an Hibernate 3, MySQL and performance. We've heard about performance issues from different parts and big bugs. Performance issue mostly with the blog, and it's like everyone find the same bugs in the same time, and the bugs were there since the beginning. I mean bugs or performance issues. So specifically here with blog post, when you edit a blog post, it will recompute every archive, and if you have like 16,000 blog posts, it can be long. So we need to fix those ones.
Yeah, there's one other issue that I'd like to raise. I've been seeing a lot of the transaction. What is it exactly?
Lifetime scope?
Yeah, a transaction scope must be disposed on the same thread.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the description. Yeah, it's. I think Piotr has fixed the course, one of the courses of that. You mentioned a few weeks ago that that it would be definitely fixed in 1.6. But yeah, it's popping up really often lately. As soon as we enable a feature or enable a feature, then the error shows, and it's getting a little bit pretty much annoying. So I'm not sure how much work it is to fix that.
Find the issue and fix it. The most interesting part is finding the issue.
Of course.
And but one of the two was raised by Zoltan too, and it is the one that I already fixed for 1.4. So if I find again the fix, because I had exactly the same repro as you mentioned is bug. So hoping that Piotr fixed the other one, and that will do it.
Okay, so that will be part of 1.6 or 1.5.2?
1.6. But yeah, you can apply it on Mod 5 if you want. But
yeah, of course. Okay.
If it's a patch, then patch your. Why not fix a bug? Yeah, in next release we fix 80 bugs per release, so we could say never release anything and just push.
Yeah.
No, the question.
So you can, if you have time.
If you have a release.
If you have time.
Impact the release negatively, and other people have already fixed it. Why not put it in it?
Yeah, they are not fixed. Maybe, from what I hear and read here, Piotr or Nick have fixed one of them, and then you will ask for the second one. And maybe there are other very important bugs that you want to fix, and so we can't make a new release every commit. It will not be accepted by the community. What? I just installed 1.5.2 and you give me a 1.5.3, and so.
Is 1.5.2 out?
No, but if we want to release 1.5.2, it's okay. We released 1.5.1 last week, but yeah, and right now they are not. Yeah, we'll send a patch. So right now I have nothing, so we can't even discuss raising a 1.5.2 just for that. And it's weird. I've made some Orchard websites recently. I've never seen it. I have ever seen it in the past releases, and the one that raised that Zoltan raised had already been fixed, and so this should be the same fix actually, but this one is like when you edit manually a file and use dynamic compilation, and I don't know, yeah. For this car, seen what? A lifetime scope exception, yellow screen of death. With lifetime scope exceptions. Those one were pretty common before 1.4. My audio is pretty crappy. Sorry. That's the new link, maybe? Any other topic? Extensibility of content controller?
Yes. Yeah. Let me share my screen so that we know what so that you know what I'm talking about. Oh, am I now? No, sorry. You're not going to control your screen.
So let me make a break. Just to continue on the previous issue, enabling and disabling module triggers hero screens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not in the default setup of Orchard. I'm not sure what is causing it, but in a certain install,
so it seems obvious for your install and not obvious for everyone else. And we know that enabling and disabling multiple tenants at the same time causes it. It's been proven. And this is not a big bug. This is a bug, but almost nobody on Earth enables and disables multiple tenants at the same time. Okay.
Yeah.
And the fix and the workaround is, okay, do it one by one. If you have 10, it will be maybe 10 minutes.
But right now you're talking about enabling tenants.
Yeah, but enabling and disabling modules, I've hardly seen that. I can't remember any time I've seen that when enabling and disabling a module, unless you have changed the code also, and this is a developer issue.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is not pretty critical.
My only point is two things. One, we do tenant by tenant, multi-tenant, even though it's in a multi-tenant environment. Two, if we have a patch fix, why not put it in the release? I'm not asking you to fix it.
Yeah, if you have a patch and it's only impacting you, we will suggest, it is you or whoever, we will suggest please apply the patch and wait for the next release. We won't make a release. We can make a release to everyone just for one customer who has one issue and has already the patch. And that's all we did every time. And if it's committed, you can apply the patch on your... It's sad, but... And I want to see the patch. Today I don't have it. And yeah, and today I can't. You have a patch, but I can't even repro it. I can show it to you. Yeah, maybe I don't have a complex enough solution, but I mean solution, an Orchard website. Yeah, I know. Should said it will. Very hard to repro locally, you see. So. There have been bugs which have been raised by more than one customer, more than 10, that are very important to fix, and we don't even have time to fix them. But yeah. And Sipke about content controller.
Yes. Okay.
So what did you want to change?
Let me show you. I will. Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm looking. Oh no, it's not a link client. It's a website. Here it is. Can I share my screen?
If you have the button, I assume to.
Where's the button?
Bottom left.
It's connecting from my side.
Okay. It works.
Okay. Well, this is what I was doing, or what I did. I needed to add a preview button so that when you're in the editor, you can preview the content. So it will save a draft. It will save a draft of the content, and then you will preview it in the front end. So that's some feature that I needed to add. The interesting thing is that in order to redirect to the front end, I could choose to use JavaScript so that I wouldn't have to change the core. But instead I chose to change the core by adding two methods, which are similar to the edit actions, like here.
So why can't you make a controller on your module, which would be like do the same? Well, just do let me think. Because adding the button is very easy. It's a zone in the
Exactly.
Then you can trigger your own controller, which will get all the forms, and we will say then build editor update.
Yeah.
You can save the draft from there and redirect to the front end.
Well, how would that
you
work?
open a new page?
Form.
Do you open a new page or?
Yeah. If I hit preview, then it's not going to a new page. It's opening in the same window.
Okay.
But the thing is, this form that is generated is posting back to the controller of the content module.
Why?
Because this is the admin controller of the contents module. So
yes, but the preview, okay. But the form, you could change it dynamically, no?
Using JavaScript.
Okay.
But what if I don't want to use JavaScript for some reason? Or well, obviously that would work. I was just wondering, would it be feasible if we would open up this controller so that we could add any button we would like, and then using that, what's it called? Not the action, the form value. Based on that, then maybe it will fire some sort of event, which a third-party module could handle and determine what action should be executed. And maybe if it's extensible enough, then even the modules like the block controller could be replaced.
Yeah, and for that we need to see what the block controller does on top of the default editor.
Of course.
Yeah, because a few times when I had to create modules, I was actually duplicating the create and publish code from core without knowing it, and you could still use the content controller sometimes, and we don't know it. Okay, so so you had to create a custom action?
Yeah, and that's called preview.
So because the form is tied to this. Okay.
Yeah, create preview. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see. So maybe using, for instance, a custom property on a submit button, and if So today we have the form value required,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it will be like an optional form value. Okay, you have this, so let me trigger this one instead.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, it's doesn't hurt, and if we can provide other scenarios, why not? So it should be based on an attribute on the button, which trigger this action, which will fall back to other ones. Okay.
That's right.
So maybe we could provide a redirect, or no, it's not a redirect. We need to call another action, or you.
No. I think the third-party module that will implement the custom button action should return some sort of action result, but maybe a composite version. Maybe it should be able to return more information to the admin control of the contents module. I can't remember of an example right now, but I thought in certain cases I want to return more, maybe whether it's published or not, so that the admin controller can take action on that. Let me see. Yeah, maybe the edit post action method wants to know if the content item has been published or not. I don't know. I would need to gather some more scenarios to see if what the third-party module should return. But I think the third-party module should be able to specify what action result to execute.
Yes, maybe with some other forms element, and the action will take those forms elements. Okay, I need to do that after. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. Yes, but in the same time, let's see what the blog post is requiring too.
Yeah.
But open a bug, and just mention that we also need to integrate the blog post also, by the way, the blog controller, to see what's inside that needed to have a specific controller. Let's randomize Sebastian a little bit more.
Sorry, say again?
No, I was just commenting on the chat comments.
Okay.
Ilan is saying that your demonstration is hilarious. He's making fun of you.
I'm used to that. Yes, right.
No, I know, Ilan. It's just making fun of you, making fun of Sipke.
Okay, I'll open a bug for this.
So is there a public fork for the taxonomy, by the way?
I did send you a while ago.
Okay, let me see. Source code. Forks.
Did I open a fork?
No.
No, I sent you a link to the Bitbucket repo.
Okay. To the Bitbucket? Okay, so I checked that.
Should I resend that link?
No, well, maybe I just need to not to forget it. Bucket, what do I have access to? Oh, maybe it's some one-stop stuff. Is it a one-stop repository or your own repository?
No, it's a one-stop repository.
Okay, so yeah, so I have access to it. Okay.
Okay.
Just I have to find it. Yeah. And I just have not to forget about integrating it. Or maybe I should give you right access to the taxonomy and you put it there. You make a
Sure.
branch and let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah, you can make a branch from the default, which I can review, and then I will. You can just push and done. Let's be more open. People, developer, username Sipke.
Okay.
Sipke, your.
Yeah, Sipka's you will be. Can't I use my Coplex user account? Yeah, my username is. Let me type it. It's SM Skywalker.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this one.
Do you want my password too?
Oh.
Yeah.
Your credit card number and done. So you have access. So you can create a branch, and then we can do some code review on the branch, and then we can merge on the default. You see what I mean? Okay, so you have okay, good.
All brands. That's what you said, right?
So we show question, by the way. Should we open the Orchard repository to other developers?
So that they can commit.
We didn't say you, other developers.
Yeah, so that they can commit and they want. Yeah, why not? That would speed things up.
Today there are a lot of people have access to this repository, but only one is doing it. And sometimes people provide patches, and so I'm not afraid.
Last time we talked about that, you were actually against it because you say that it was fine for you to play the gatekeeper on those and the patch master.
But you just wrote it. Yeah, the issue is randomizing, Sebastian. I'm doing so many stuff right now that I'm not finishing anything.
Okay.
So, like I see Antoine, Sipke, guys like that who fix bugs. Piotr is opening bugs. Oh, sorry. Nick is opening a lot of bugs. So, but not closing them. But you know, when they have patches and we know that they are active and there are people we can't trust, I'm sure that it won't push anything that they are not allowed to push or that we didn't agree to push. And they know about branching, so they know that, okay, we have to work on this branch, so even if we mess up, it's on the branch, it's on the default branch, so we can remove it.
Okay, so I suppose this is the point where I should propose that we have some form of process about this.
Yeah.
So how about we vote on each character, and that's it?
I think we lost someone called Bertrand.
I said, how about the process is just that we take a vote every time we want to add a committer. So, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So who would be the first one? Can we do it now?
Yes. Who want to?
I revert to chat because connection is really powerful here. So.
So we got Antoine, Sipke, Piotr, Zoltan. Don't put Ilan or Brett, they will put everything inside, I'm sure. I don't understand a thing. Nice, Piotr. Piotr is funny. plus plus plus. Well, that's not fair because he's part of the committee. So David Aiden will say no, I'm against that. The fact that Piotr will vote because he's in the committee, and it's for himself. Okay, Piotr can vote on that one, but there is still Nick, me, and you. Sipke can't vote either because he's also part of. Well, maybe Sipke can vote for Piotr, and Piotr can vote for Sipke.
That could work. I vote for Piotr.
Adrian, you can't vote because you are not part of the committee. We need some power that other members don't have. Otherwise, there is no committee.
Yeah.
Well, that's starting to be complex. Should we elect a Senate and Parliament, things like that?
Just a Congress.
Congress. So we need bribes. Send us money. Lobbying. Or bitcoins, because Brett can send bitcoins.
Yeah, I should have a lot of bitcoins by now.
It's a club, the fight club. This is a fight club. Yeah, okay, so let's add those ones to the repo, but fix the rules. And if there is a member breaking the rule, let's evict him. The rule of thumb is to only commit on a branch, not the default one, and only commit on an open branch for an active bug for this branch. You can't commit something which has not been triaged and opened for a specific version, so a specific branch. Oh, did you hear me, Metron? So for code review, we might want to use forks if we need a code review. Like create a fork, make a code review for it, and because you have commit rights, you can push the stuff. I just need to see. Sipke, we can see what you do, okay? You should stop sharing.
Thank you. I'm working on a top secret project called Orchard Harvest.
Yeah, for me too. It's not working so well. Okay, let's say unanimity now. Secure. So I suggest to end the meeting now. It's time. We've defined everything wanted. I assume Bertrand will send some meeting notes, and I will add the elected committers to the repository. And I think I will take some time for next week to find a download link for the link client, because it seems to be worse than what we used to have. Yeah. So thanks all. See you next week.
Thank you. Till next week.
Bye.